I believe that there has been expectations that there won't be a deal. Every political leader who's been sort of meeting with Trump or the broader Washington meetings have signaled that there won't be an acceptance of the deal. And my view is that he will not accept the deal as is. However, he will propose to restructure a new deal. And that is something which inadvertently President Macron mentioned. There could be a new deal, but not necessarily acceptance of this current deal. And as a result, the markets have been expecting that. I'd be surprised to see sharp volatility on the back of that. However, continuing volatility will be remained.
If you had to rank the list of potential things that could go wrong in terms of whether it's geopolitical, whether it's political, or other matters to do with monetary policy, what would you say is the #1 risk facing markets today?
I think #1 would be the trade discussions taking place globally, not only US with China, but US with Europe, UK with Europe. So trade is #1. Second would be monetary policy surprises. Market participants mispricing central banks' expectations, but also central banks themselves potentially making policy mistakes, either sort of overheating economies or stalling them.
You talk about trade concerns as a major factor there, and obviously we had a US visit delegation to China last week. Didn't seem very conclusive. We've got China's top economic official traveling to Washington, D.C. this week. Should investors be watching these meetings and thinking, why is there no conclusion? Or is it just that trade is a very complex issue that takes time to resolve? I
think that's a very good point. I think they're both right. It is going to take time for this to resolve. It's highly political, especially between the US and China. The US is asking China to cut $200 billion of their cut account of the trade surplus. It's more than half of the overall surplus they have with the US. And this is very much buying into the domestic electorate and also the midterm elections which are coming in the US in November. And for that reason, I think that the $200 billion is a beginning of a negotiating tactic, albeit a very harsh one. But I don't expect that is the central case scenario from the US administration.
We just talk about Europe as well. President Macron, he's now been in power a year. Angela Merkel kind of limped into her latest term as Chancellor after several months of negotiations. Do you think that their relative strengths and weaknesses within their domestic situations make it very unlikely that we'll see this reform effort succeed in Europe?
I believe so. I believe that Angela Merkel has had a fantastic sort of 3 terms, and now she's preparing for the next cohort of leaders to be taking over. So the next 3 years, I believe Chancellor Merkel will be focusing more about who will be the next leaders or the next generation of leaders for Germany, rather than building something new with Mr. Macron.